Beautiful, beautiful, beloved beings of change. Oh, I am specifically wanting to introduce myself, Geeia Ariati. I'm of sound heart and sound mind. And I am wanting to speak about an aspect of consciousness that has been in the awareness of the spiritual field. And there has been some questions around parasites and the quantum field and different energetic structures and what that looks like. First of all, I'd like to express that I am straight out of a bath portal and two glasses of red wine in, and I do not desire to do transmissions when I have it's the only alcohol I drink, and so I'm going to use this as a teaching teaching tool. Coming into center. So you only resonate to using red wine based on its resonance to the ancient Egyptian lineage, and that it accelerates my blood into a resonant frequency that allows me to drop into altered states of consciousness that are a little different to the ways that I would normally drop into an altered state of consciousness within my natural process of breath work. So I often use just breath and intention. There are very few molecules that I use as an enhancement to the natural state of consciousness that I can interpret and be in connection with. Because I am on the computer, just comment if you are streaming in live now, because I do want this to be an interactive live. Source has directed me to do something that is quite interesting and different in relation to bringing someone on the live, so that I can share with you exactly how to tune in with me at the same time, so that you can experience the quantum field. So I am just going to double click myself into, here we go, there we go, wonderful. So if you are watching, please comment and let me know that you are watching, and be interactive in this video, because there is going to be a quantum healing on the individual being that is allowing themselves to be looked at from a multidimensional aspect of understanding. When it comes to medicine or using a molecule to shift your consciousness, they are helpful to a point, but medicines are helpful as a opener, but requiring to integrate that into the being and to become the medicine is a different journey altogether. And so we can use medicine, we can go on medicine journeys, but until we integrate that molecule and that energetic signature of grandmother, of grandfather, of the psilocybin network, and different molecules, MDMA, can all be used in a conscious way, including alcohol. This, as much as I know that the spirit molecule is an opening that kind of can open the space, as all altered states do, to influence, which is why protection is very necessary. And so protection being that of, if you're going to drink alcohol and you're going to get to yourself into a point of being unconscious, then you will require to place protection over your field, so that you don't have entities or energies and demonic influence in your experience. There are a lot of people that use substances or use plant medicines to go into high, profound, altered states of consciousness, and they meet God, and it's amazing. And what they also do is they turn on too much frequency within their neuropathways. They cannot sustain this amount of frequency within their neuropathways, pathways and they go into a place of their field being very open, as well as they effectively can have different entities and energies come in, or the ones that were already in their field that were unactive because they were quite happy feeding. So this is something that we are going to speak into, which is parasites and demonic energies, is they start feeding on the energetic field, and because they've been activated, they can come up and they can play. So substances is to be done with awareness, like anything else. If you use a substance, make sure that you are in the environment where you are held and you are safe and you're supported. Make sure that you're going into plant medicine ceremonies with facilitators that understand the multidimensional field. I have been to many plant medicine ceremonies in different ways, in which most I don't resonate with, and I no longer continue to do in group spaces because the facilitators actually have no fucking idea what they're doing. And they know how to administer medicine, they know how to hold space for the medicine, but do they know how to tune into your energy body? Do they know how to journey with you whilst you are meeting the depths of your descended consciousness and the depths of hell and past life memory, or you're moving into trauma aspects? Do they know that? And my experience is that there is not many facilitators that can go through those realms with you and assist you in that way. So it's very discerning around why are you going, what are you choosing to use it for, and what is it activating and gifting you. And if you are going to go into a plant medicine ceremony, because fuck, grandmother was such a gift to me, however I did most of my journeys on my own, this molecule opened a doorway and activated different parts of myself that I did not already have. And I continue to use those when Spirit provides. And today was one of those days. So I had red wine and a bath portal, and I want to explain bath portals really quickly before we get deep dive into it. So if you are watching, please comment below so that I know. We've got 13 viewers currently, and one comment, and I would like to hear from you because I am wanting to bring up awareness in relation to everything that I'm going to be speaking into, and I do need a volunteer. So in relation to bath portals, the bath specifically is a very, very powerful healing tool. And the bath being water activates and is a conductor of energy. So energy and water conduct. So when you go into a bath portal, what you do is you allow for the energy to start conducting at a higher frequency. The water gifts you more ability to tap into your divine source connection. So if you're feeling like you need extra support, one, you have the mother's womb's waters in the bath, and it assists with the energy transmutation, as well as it opens, it's like literally opens a bath portal because there's so many individuals using this experience. So it's like you're tapping into an element of water and energy that multiple beings do, and all it takes is really dropping into the body in the bath and immersing yourself in the womb. It holds you, it nurtures you, and it assists in the transmutation. You're not volunteering. Okay. Well, I can imagine that. Hello, Stevie. I miss you, darling. So this volunteer is going to be a little more vulnerable, because we're looking at parasites, and everyone who's watching is going to come on the journey of looking at what's inside your field. And so this is an interactive learning experience so that we can use, okay, so now we're going into the actual theme of this entire transmission. So 3 weeks ago, my monadic self, so my highest expression of self in the field unplugged me from the quantum field so that I could no longer be influenced by my brothers and sisters' traumas and their energy coming into my space, so that I could go into a completion process of the baraka, or the purification process. Now, if you haven't seen that over my sharing over the last couple of weeks, basically that's the seventh chakra going into the full purification. So all of my chakras are now open, cleared, purified, and trying to integrate. And during that, what was the most important thing for me to do was to actually unplug me from the quantum field, because I was so sensory connected to all other beings that I was not focusing on what was required for my individual journey. I was holding space for so many. And so what I didn't realize was, yes, I went inwardly, but I didn't realize that I'd actually unplugged myself from the quantum field. And so for the last 3 weeks, I have been curious as to why my channel has been less sensitive to other people's experiences and to receiving them in totality. Often what would happen was someone could send me a text message and I would see their name, and all of a sudden I would be in their energy field and I could read everything that was going on. That is my gift. I am a quantum ascended master energy reader. That is, like, if there's anything that I could put in a label somehow and compartmentalize it, it is me working in the quantum field. And so what I have been guided to share is a couple of explanations of what that actually is. Because to the human, that doesn't make very much sense, because we're in the here and the now, and we talk about energy, yes, but when we talk about the quantum field, it is extremely confusing to the cognitive mind, let alone when we start to access it and go into past time-space continuums and start to reconcile timelines and meet parts of ourselves and reclaim parallel timelines. And I am going to mute that. Oh, hang on. What are we going to do? We're going to mute. So when it comes to the quantum field, this is, I unplugged myself, and it's been the most beautiful, peaceful 3 weeks that I've had in a very, very long time. Presence, pure presence, and very little disruption in my life, and I have enjoyed it thoroughly. I cannot say that there's been a part of me that hasn't enjoyed it. There has been a little confusion in relation to receiving specific tuning, like tuning in. I'm like, how come I'm not just tuning in, like by saying tune in? Because for me, I've mastered this. I have, not only have I spent multiple incarnation cycles mastering this, I've mastered it and accessed it in this lifetime. And it's not something that will come easy to most people. And so in this interactive offering and this experience, you are going to have access to my channel. That's why it becomes an opportunity for you to access something that you don't have access to. So anyone who has done work with me, they'll say that it's much easier to do a session with me than go and sit on their own. Yes, because you're using my abilities. You're using my channel, and I'm opening a doorway for you to go into the quantum field where you can receive in a higher vibrational resonance than what you currently receive. It does not mean that I am more highly evolved. It does not mean that I am better. It does not mean anything other than this is my gift. And my gift is something that I can offer you until you evolve and remember and come into the fullness of how you use your gift. Your gift may be working in the quantum field. It may not. We all have different energetic signatures to the complete whole of the bringers of change, and every single one of us is important. But my gift is translating frequency and vibration into a tangible vision, thought, word expression. And so that means that I am a master in the quantum field. What does that mean? I can telepathically communicate. It means that I can move, what's that word? Move things with my mind. Telekinesis. I can remote view. I can move through time and space anywhere just by saying, you go, if you ask me a question, and all I have to do is close my eyes and locate that time-space continuum, tune into it, and I can tell you what is going on there. I can tell you what has gone on there. I can tell you what distortions are there. I can tell you everything about that experience, because this is the mastery of that which I am, and I cannot run away from it, which is what I have wanted to do for the last 3 weeks. So it has only dropped into my field today that I disconnected myself from the quantum field, and that I can't run away from who I am. And if there's anything that you receive out of this transmission, anything at all, you cannot run from your soul mission. You cannot run from who you are. You cannot suppress, disassociate, distract, cause yourself addiction, sabotage, whatever that is. You actually cannot do that to yourself, because your inner being will drive you into every possible wall to slap you in the face and say, come back home. Which is what has happened to me. I have not been communicating in the quantum field. And some of you may have seen the post in relation to the Galactic Federation hitting this office with lightning. So that was a fun experience. Although their volatile and extreme force ways of getting my attention is not new, they often throw things around the room in which I do not align and agree with as a way to communicate with any being. That is one of their tactics. They like to create enough of a force of attention to get you to pay attention. So yes, recently my Wi-Fi blew up in this space. I felt like I actually got hit by lightning, and yeah, it was one of the most it was one of those intense experiences in that specific perspective of my life. Many intense experiences. Okay, so I have, that was my first warning. My second warning is that my previous connection, so if I look at my life, everyone that is directly in my life is either Fata Soul. So if you haven't heard this term analogy before, Fata Soul is one of the creator beings. And one of the divine race creator beings of the earth. So the original seeders of the earth. Yes, if you haven't heard this and you haven't heard me speak before, there's going to be aspects of this that you're going to go, that chick is absolutely fucking crazy. She's lost her mind. That's fine. I know who I am, and I know what I've remembered. But the Fata Soul are the original creator beings, the seeders of the earth, the divine race. They've been here in different forms at different times. Lemuria, Atlantis, ancient Egypt, Greece. They are the gods and the goddesses that are expressed in scripture. They are the demigods, the expressions of beings that have come from the sky to show the evolution of the human race in different forms. Now, through time, because of their distortedness, they watered the density of the earth. They forgot who they were, and basically, by forgetting who you are, you forget your connection to source, and they, through wanting to avoid the consequences of their own unique counsels by making mistakes in relation to their mission failure, we'll just call it that, mission failure, there was a preventative measure that was created that created the incarnation cycle, or the loop, so that they didn't actually go up to their council or to the heavens to meet God in the judgment day. Now, without going into all of those different layers of multidimensionality, because for some of you, you're going to be like, whoa, what is she talking about? The divine race and the Fata Soul are the beings that I directly communicate with my life. I just attract them. That is what I do. I vibrate at that resonance. I know who I am. And so what happens is I connect with other beings that are either the original seeders of the earth, the divine race, or they are a offspring or offbreed, or a new higher vibrational expression that may be the first incarnation here on earth. And this is because we are here with a specific reason for our earth incarnation, and that is to evolve the human race. However, there are some beings in my field that do not desire for me to share these messages with you, because if I share these messages, then I start to awaken more and more and more and more people. Now, because I disconnected myself from the quantum field, what happened was that I also opened myself to a point of weakness, because I was not aware. I was not looking into the lower dimensions of the descended consciousness, the inner earth, hell. I was not aware of any of the dimensions above. I was pretty much here in my human experience, loving life in pure creation. And so what that meant was that I was under influence, or I won't say attack, because there was not a psychic attack, but there was an awareness that because of my desire to stay in simplicity, which is not my path, and they continue to tell me this, that the simplicity opened a weakening because I was not looking, right? Awareness creates choice. It allows us to be sovereign and free. I chose not to see all layers of that which I am able to see, which is so easy for me to see. And so there was a weakening in my field in which now this might be a really interesting thing, but I'm being guided to say it. So I can feel them already. Okay, so the Satan consciousness being that of a human interpretation. So if we believe God and Satan, so Satan, God is the highest point the human has of creation, Satan being the lowest point of separation. And between here we have all other thought forms, beliefs, dimensions, and etc. Now, as a human being, the Satan consciousness is just a energy signature of separation, right? It's the furthest point that we can get to beyond that of death or complete destruction of the void. And the Satan consciousness was created, and there is a satanic being, or a being that holds this consciousness. So it is, yes, it has its own universe, like anything, right? If we look at, I don't know why I always think of Muji, but Muji, I like him. He's funny. He's really sweet. He's got this like humble, funny, sweet smile. Anyway, I don't even know if he's false light. I don't think he is. I feel he's genuine. Yeah, he's genuine. Okay. So Muji has devotees, right? They have people that go and they like listen to him and they pray, and he's a guru, and he has a lot of people pouring energy into his field. They listen to him, which means that there is a Muji or consciousness. Now I might be saying that wrong, but there is a whole dimension that is him. Okay, the same with Isis. Now we're going to go away from Isis because I know that that can confuse people. But she has her own dimension. Thoth has his own dimension. Yeshua has his own dimension. Hell has their own dimension. Satan also has his own dimension. Now, so these dimensions are consciousnesses that hold an energetic signature. Yet they are also a being. Now, you can have satanic influence, you can have satanic expression within yourself. There is a actual satanic being that is roaming the earth with us currently. And because of the shift in the evolutionary structure of the earth, and because the vibration is moving to a higher point, what happens is that lowest point of separation has to start to rise, because there is no other option. It's either the highest point drops and continues to drop, which is kind of what happens with tethering. Okay, so if we imagine lowest point, highest point buffering, right? This is what we are. There's only so much life that can live between this of Satan and God in whatever expression we're showing that at. You have a point that is the highest point of the collective consciousness, and as that moves up, whatever the lowest point is, it has to die or rise. It has to die or awaken. It has to die or awaken. It has to die or awaken. So this is how it works. It's really quite black and white. Everything, when you understand it, is quite simple, and it's not very complex at all. It's really just universal law and understanding energy, frequency, and vibration. And I know that maybe that sounds, it might sound easy for someone who's spent many lifetimes within this time-space continuum in challenges, but it is light, dark. You have a descended consciousness and an ascended consciousness, and there is all realms in between, and that is your yin, your yang, and all of that causes union. And when you are trying to unify yourself, you have to meet all aspects at once. I haven't listened or looked at any of the comments because I'm aware that I have had substance in my vessel. I want to be very clear that I don't get distracted from the directive that has been here, which I am kind of bypassing, but also sharing important information. So the Satan consciousness, I directly know. So Satan is in a physical incarnation in this experience, as well as he has this Satan consciousness in the underworld. Now, he has been influencing my field because I hold a very high angelic consciousness. So polarities, union, oh yum, yes, isn't that beautiful? But what happens is the more that I shift and let go of that control structure, because I have transcended and released it, I become more of a threat. And that's what happens with all beings. Every single one of you, the more that you choose a higher vibrational resonance to integrate, and I'm not talking ascending, you have to go and ascend and bring it down and ground it into your physical vessel and lock it in place and anchor it into the earth, then you are able to be quite a challenge to the powers that be, we'll call them. Ugh. I don't know if I like that, but I don't feel they're very powerful at all. I think they're actually... Anyway, so as your vibrational frequency shifts, a lot of the individual beings that work with me and work in the quantum field, they start to access their power, they start to access their abilities, they start to remember who they are, their energy blueprints come online, they start to listen to their channel, and they are no longer controllable. Now, what happens when you're not controllable? You become a target for influential energies to either get you on their team, e.g., I in a half conversation with the Galactic Federation, the false light narrative, or the we'll say the dark hats and the anti-consciousness agenda. And they are beings that are going to try and influence you in different ways. And they will influence you through the humans that you hang out with. Yes. Yep. I know. This is where time and space does not exist. All right. So this is our first actual teaching tool. If you haven't received a lot of teaching in this already, the first thing is that time and space does not exist. And I want to explain that from a point where your human can understand it, because it's very confusing when people say, oh, time and space doesn't exist, but I had a past life memory and this past thing really hurts me and I don't understand. How can the past not exist? Because it's very real in my experience, right? A lot of these spiritual narratives are very confusing. They don't make sense. And to the cognitive mind, you're a little bit like, why? Right? I remember when I first started going through my awakening process, and I had a mentor and a sister that was much older than me say to me, go and sit with yourself, honey. Go sit with yourself and you'll find the answers. And don't take life so seriously. Mind you, my body was completely dying. I was about to actually die. I was in a completely dysfunctional, toxic relationship. I had 5 children and I ran 3 businesses, and I was completely dysfunctional, full of trauma, and disassociated from my experience. Sitting with myself, I didn't even know what the fuck that meant, right? To tell someone who is so disassociated and ran in that much fight, flight, freeze to sit with themselves is like asking someone to go and sit in their trauma and basically go into a place of anxiety and distress. It is not a very helpful tool. So when we look at some of these spiritual narratives of surrender, right? If you've mastered surrendering, yeah, sure, surrender, it's easy. Yeah, you just say surrender. But for anyone who does not understand what surrender is, that is complete tethering and actual fear. And I know this from personal experience. I was gifted and I had a pre-warning. I had about a 3-day warning saying, you're going to receive a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, da-da-da-da. And I knew it was coming. And I received very clear message. And the message was, I went into an ayahuasca ceremony by myself on a full moon. And I sat in this ceremony. And I was taken to the gates of heaven. And every possible teaching that I'd ever heard from any mentor, any guide around, and it was funny because my mentor and my teacher at the time had come up to me and said, if God reached his hand out to you and said, follow me, would you follow, or would you say, wait, I've got to go and get the kids from school? And it was so fucking traumatizing for me, because I was at the gates of heaven at a point where I have just only come into now, 3.5 years later, through the contrast of my human experience and learning through fucking pain, because that's what I chose, because I didn't know how to surrender. And I was at the gates where all I had to do was surrender to walk through. And I went through a loop of surrender, control, surrender, control, surrender, control. It was the most horrible experience I'd ever experienced, but it also showed me the addiction to separation that our entire human collective and the human condition is made up of. Is we do not know how to surrender. We are not taught how to surrender. We do not know how to find peace within our body. And telling somebody to surrender that doesn't know how, that is what it creates. Absolute devastation on top of what is already completely fractured within somebody's being. And so this is why it's really important to meet the human and the spirit. You can't separate them. You can't just be spiritual. You have to meet your human as well. This is spirit and matter coming into union in oneness. Okay, diverged. So what is the quantum field? What is the quantum field? So the quantum field is what you would consider the sum of experiences of creation. So that is every time-space continuum, every possible energetic creation, every being, every energy signature, every timeline. It is an energetic web of creation. It is creation itself. The quantum field is just basically creation moving upon creation. Now, this field of awareness we all have access to. Now, we may have mastered how to connect into that and to receive infinite intelligence of your own source connection, because you are the quantum field. That's what you are. You are the quantum field. You have the ability to go into all past and all future experiences, which is where time and space do not exist. So to make sense of what was previously brought up way back there, is that the past, although it exists in your mind, right? So the past is very real. I very much got I very much experienced the adversity in this childhood of this experience. That was a real experience. The past is not manufactured illusion or a simulation, and that is also very traumatic for somebody to say, oh, you're just living in an illusion of simulation, wake up from the dream. Like, go fuck yourself, really. Like, seriously, yes, we are an illusion, but we're also not. This is real. This here is real, and it hurts. And to tell someone that they're living in a dream that they have to wake up from is just as devastating as every other conditioned program that you can tell somebody. So when you look at the past, yes, my past was real, but I'm also not defined by my past. So yes, I experienced a lot of fucking trauma. I also experienced a lot of past lives that have a lot of devastation to them. And I have experienced a lot. Yet in this now moment, what it means that time and space does not exist is, and this is the key, is that your past is here now. Your past, every past experience that you have ever experienced is here now. So it's not that the past doesn't exist. It's not that it's not real. It's that the past is here in the now. And when you understand that, you can transcend that. Your future is something that you can bring forth into the now for manifestation and actualization. You can project yourself into your future vision, into your future self, and bring yourself here into the now. Now, this is... It takes some deconditioning. It takes some time to delayer all of the things that have actually kept you stuck from accessing this energy field. That's all it is an energy field. So when you understand, and this is where all of the movies that you could ever possibly look at hold truth in them. And I think the one that I was speaking about recently was Rebel Moon. And I do really want to talk about that because there is so much in that movie around the quantum field that I know just goes straight over people's head. They're like, I don't even get it. I don't know what she's talking about. Because it's so well done that you're just like, that's fucking crazy. Yeah, that's actually happening right here, right now. So, in the quantum field, you have the sum of experience, which means that you can access your past. So when you look at trauma, this is why healing trauma in the quantum, through quantum hypnosis or through altered states of consciousness, and you have an ability to go back to the core wounding and the fragmentation, dissolves things instantaneously. You don't have to go through inner child courses. You do not have to go through years of healing your mother wound. You do not have to go through multiple modalities and X, Y, Z. I'm not even going to go into that, but all you have to do is go into the time-space continuum that your energetic signature or your soul spirit fractured, and there was a distortion created. And then every single thing that happened after that point in time dissolves and reconciles. So what I mean by that is that now, right, now I may have, I'm going to have to access a past version of myself for this because I don't hold this, I don't hold karma anymore, right? So I've transcended trauma. I've transcended my karma, and I am in pure presence of the now moment. So I don't hold, there's not things here for me to heal. And that may be challenging to understand, but it is the truth. There's nothing for me to heal. I'm in pure creation, connected to God, Source Creator, as a way to express. And yes, I'm solidifying that and can be a little bit quirky, but the understanding that the human experience is still a human experience, with or without ego. It just means that you no longer hold these attachments or these resistances. Now, with time and space, no such thing as time and space, which you can then access in the quantum field to find and access all aspects of yourself in the now moment, so that you can transcend and come into the essence of who you are in this moment here and now. Is that you go and you realize that if there's no such thing as time, then I can go back however many lifetimes, okay? So if I go back to the first point I was in this galaxy, which was Lyra. In Lyra, I was a royal representative. I was a queen. I was traded to the reptilians and the draconians as a trade-off because of my ability with frequency and vibration, which I still hold to this day. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm so good in the quantum field, is my ability to receive frequency, vibration, channel it, and gift it into word. And through technology and information is a vital commodity to many. Now, I'm not using it for any other thing other than what God Source Creator directs me to do. So what happened was in Lyra, I was captive. I was caught captive and exchanged, and they experimented on my vessel to understand and to receive information. Now, in that lifetime, and in that time-space continuum, what happened was, because I was constantly channeling and they basically short-circuited me, I exploded from the inside out from too much source energy. Now, we can put that into the now moment of, in the now moment, there was a fear of holding so much source energy in my vessel in case I spontaneously combusted. But what I needed to do, because I was fearful of holding so much source energy in my body and being a clear conduit, needed to go back to that time space because it was affecting my now moment. So there is no time and space, but there also is, and this is the very challenging thing about creation, is there is and there isn't. There's right and there's wrong, but there really isn't. Right? There is there's aligned truth, and then there's also distortion. It's like, this is the cosmic joke. And if you can come to acceptance of that, then you can start to work with it. So I had to go back into my Lyran self, so back through quantum field to that point in time and re-experience, so I could find the belief systems. Because the belief systems are here in my now consciousness, not back there. They're here now. That's why there's no time, space. That there is no such thing as time and space. But when we believe that there is, and while we have these experiences, these beliefs, these attachments, and these energy signatures within our field, we can't transcend it. So these are the stages of evolution. Is transcending time and space means actually going into those aspects to dissolve those aspects, so you're no longer bound by those aspects. So the quantum field is creation in every possible way that you could possibly look at it. And it is just frequency, vibration made up in different interpretations of memory, thoughts, times, beliefs, and experiences. And you can locate anyone in the quantum field. So to say, so this is something that I find very challenging as a human being, is that for me, it's very easy for me to go into the quantum field. And I can go, oh, shit, okay, we've done this time, bro. I remember you. Oh, I love you. Oh, But the human in front of me is like, this chick, like, how can she love me? Like, we've just met. So for me, it's really challenging because I have access to every single time-space continuum, and I can't, if I try and turn it off, I get hit by lightning, is that this is my reality, and this is what I'm here to express, because this is what is transcending us into higher states of evolution. So how can one be more aware in there now? Now I feel like this question is just completely dissolved. So has it? We're still answering it, are we? Okay. Okay, how can one be more aware in the now? Okay, when we look at that your future and your past is all here in your now moment, When you have a contrast with someone in front of you, when you have a disagreement, when you have a distortion showing up in your now, it is not a human thing. It is, but it isn't. Cosmic joke, right? So your human contrast also has all of the multi-dimensional playing out, which means that this person in front of you that you've just met, that you're like, oh yeah, you feel good in my body and I'm quite attracted to you and I can feel this depth and I'm excited, also has all of your karmic experiences, all of your contracts from past timelines and from this incarnation and any future trajectory information. It also has any spells, sorcery, black magic, and energetic signatures that have been placed on you, as well as it holds frequency and information from any core wounds or triggers that may be coming up for you to heal. So what you are seeing in front of you is not what you are seeing in front of you. What you're seeing in front of you is actually your sum of experiences with this individual being, or mostly with this individual being, or with someone who's playing a role to trigger you into the unmet, unhealed aspects of yourself. So that person will be the activation point for you to see yourself. So to become more aware in the now is to recognize that in the now, all things are playing out, right? But the now moment is the most powerful moment, okay? So the vessel or the human body is the most advanced piece of machinery in the entire galaxy. This here that we cut up and feed full of poisons and don't respect or listen to is the most advanced piece of machinery that you will find anywhere throughout this galaxy. Which means that it has infinite ability to receive and express and communicate with you in ways that you have no fucking idea. Or maybe you have. My desire is that we all access this. So what is important is the now moment in this physical vessel that's holding your consciousness for this incarnation. The consciousness of this brain, consciously here in the now, is stronger than any past and any future expressions of self. So by making a conscious present choice and feeling it wholeheartedly in every aspect of your being, it overrides and consolidates the karma and any other expressions. And so why this is important is that, yes, this is where I work, and it is important for me because it is somewhere that I can gift people information, knowledge, and infinite intelligence to access parts of themselves and transcend. But the present moment is all we have. And so you can meet and override your trauma. You can meet and override so many things in that moment, which is why that moment at the gates of heaven, I could have surrendered. I could have overridden the last 3.5 years of fuckery, but I didn't because I didn't know how. And so this is where spirituality is confusing, because they're like, you don't need to look at your shadows. You just need to bring in higher states of consciousness. Yeah, that's not true. Because some of us don't actually know how to just choose the light and embody the light. To choose God and embody God. And so when you can't choose something that you are, you have to go back and look at why you can't choose it, because there's something there to be witnessed. which is why working in the quantum field is so powerful. As you witness it, you don't get stuck in the somatic emotion. You don't have to do breath work and hours of breathing to release emotion. Yes, all of these tools are amazing. They are. They're all tools that I've used. They're all tools that have got me to where I am at. But you transcend every single tool. Working in a space, and if you can transcend those and go straight to something that is of a higher expression of dissolving things, wouldn't you choose that? If I had have been gifted this information, I would have. I didn't have access to this. No one was sharing this or teaching this in my field. I didn't know that this was even something that was possible. I had to learn the hard way so I could stand here and show you an easier way. You don't have to do the embodiment aspects in that way. You just have to learn to access consciousness, because that is your embodiment. The reminder of who you are is who you embody. And then becoming embodied in that is natural. It just is. Because spirit merges with matter. So the now moment is the most powerful, yet we are a pretty fucked up race. Yes, we're doing the best that we can. And I am really, really, really proud of every single one of us. I am. But I'm also very aware that we are still super fucked up, and I can't keep deluding myself that people are more evolved than what they are because they're not staying on their path. The beings that are meant to be walking in commitment and devotion to their source connection and their soul's path are getting fucking distracted, and that's the truth, because our timeline forward keeps shifting. And so for me, it's looking at this. Okay, if this is the truth, then we need to meet the now moment, but we also need to meet the fact that we are primarily, we'll say 76% on average, ran by ego construct, which is the automatic pilot system of the sum of experience that sits within the neuro pathways, which you have absolutely zero control over until you become aware of it. So most people are living in their life 76% unconsciously, which is fine. Let's work with that. The energy signatures and how they're perceived. So I realized that I'm like, let's go back. I knew this was going to be a long video. So hang on, do I want to answer some questions? Yes, I'm going to answer some questions and respond to anything that's come up here before I go into the energetic signature of parasites, because I need a volunteer for this. Either that, or I've got to find some parasites in my body, which, is there any? I don't know if I still have any. Miatae koenai, is there any parasites here within my field? No. Yeah, so I need somebody who's got them. So I can teach you how to tune into energy signatures and start to see them by accessing my channel that will access a different state of expression for you. Alright, so let's go back. Let's go back. Alright. Now, do you know one of the other amazing things? Because this was one of the stories I had, right? So before I opened my 7th chakra and went into the purification, I had this idea that an ascended master or someone who had met God was like this guru, and they were so serious and they were so peaceful and they were just like this. And I had all these fears. I had a fear if I was like that, well, who's going to want to love me? I had all these fears that if I was like that, I wouldn't be relatable. I would never have a partner. I would never experience fun again. I'd just be this Zen master. And who wants to be a Zen master? And my soul's like, you want to be a Zen master. And so looking at all of that story was a big start of the journey. And then when I actually came into that moment of pure presence, which I had a pre-awakening 3 months ago. If you didn't know my story, I was awakened by someone else who opened my third eye, and it was 3 weeks of total bliss. And it was like going from here to here, which is when, you hear different people talking about when they had a massive and awakening journey. And it is like such a drastic shift in consciousness that you're like, wow, I don't even know how to be in the world. And I didn't leave the house for 3 weeks, and I didn't know how to. My language, I couldn't speak something that was out of vibrational resonance with God, Source, Creator. And so what was happening was I was barely speaking because I didn't have the language to express how I was feeling in each moment. Now, over the last, so basically they actually turned my third eye off and they plugged it, because they're like, yeah, this is not functional for you. You can't maintain this. You need to do some more work. And it was great because I did a lot more work and learnt a lot more things. And by the time I moved through that, it wasn't such a drastic shift. It was just a little shift. It was actually like, oh, I know how to be this, because I've spent a lot more time gradually walking up to get to that point. So it wasn't this like profound moment. It was just a shift, like any other shift, where I was like, oh, okay. There's no more attachments. They're gone. Okay. There's no more wounding. Okay. There's no more healing. Oh, no more healing to do. Okay. We're not releasing anymore. Okay. We're expanding. We still have shadow points of consciousness and different perspectives. All right. This is interesting. So it's a whole point of relearning reality because you have a different viewpoint. And I got lost in transmission. Oh, so funny. Oh, the point. The point was that when you transcend the human identity, life is actually really fucking fun. It's really fun because you're not controlled by the identity of what you thought you were, which means you can be playful and curious, and it's like, actually it's not that serious at all. It's very funny, and you can still grieve, and you're still angry, and you still cry, and you're still all these things, but you're pure in the present moment about them. So it's like I don't have triggers. I get activated, but I get activated into something that is in my pure present moment now. So just to dissolve any ideas that anyone has around the ego construct. Great explanation. Whoa, you are alive. I finally get to experience your energy. It's so juicy. Thank you for loving my crazy. Crazy. I think it's just actually learning reality. I think the rest of the human consciousness is crazy. Okay, they are the same thing. They are because they are eight same. If you want, beautiful. Yes, all light resonates. All food resonates. You eat it, they eat it. You resonate, or you could call what they really are. Demons. I like that. Exactly. All right. So I do want to touch on this because we are going into this around demonic energies and the parasites, right? And demonic energies. So if you haven't seen this post, it's been going around, and there's this post with. Actually, I think I've got it somewhere on my phone. Whoa, my phone's really hot. Oh yeah, we're not going to have much time because I'm hotspotting because I don't have Wi-Fi. Thanks, Galactic Federation. Okay, so let's turn this off, and it's not important. I will put a photo in the links, but there's a photo going around these parasites and these worms and these Satan worms, right? So when I first located a Satan worm within my body, I was absolutely repulsed. I was repulsed by this. I was like, what the fuck is that, and why is that inside of me? So a Satan worm, they're quite interesting. They look like a worm, like a black kind of worm, and they've got like teeth, and they like latch onto you, kind of like a leech, and they feed off you. And basically these parasites are energy signatures or beings. They're organic organisms, right? They're from the lower dimensional realms. They have moved into this dimension to feed off humans, as we will say, what is that word? Currency. right? So there's, when we look at the feeding that happens within the quantum field, there is a sense of currency, right? So in the higher dimensional realms, humans are currency. Yay! I know. Let's just like bring some lightheartedness to this. We can look at it from the very conspiracy theorist, or we can look at it from a more neutral standpoint. And the neutral standpoint is that we as beings all are in some form of survival until we meet God, and we remember that when we meet God, that God will look after us and protect us, and we're always safe and we're always in life force energy. But when we are not in God, we are in some sense of survival mechanism. And parasitic energies, or demonic consciousness and energies such as this, are energies that are feeding because they need life force energy. So when you have within the quantum field, or your quantum energetics, you have made a contract with a being. Specifically, maybe you're a child and you had some being come in and say, "We will protect you, darling, and you won't need to be scared at night time anymore. But all you have to do is ensure that you will allow us to spend time with you," right? Whatever their wording is, because they're very, very tricky. And they lock you into a contract. And basically, they create tubes and they feed off you, or they place parasitic energies into you and they feed off you. And there's tubes that go down into the underworld and feed different underworld beings so that they can stay alive. Now, this might sound like a horror movie, but it's also the fact that parasitic energies or demonic consciousnesses need life force energy to live. So when we look at the evolution of the planet, when we look at the evolution of yourself, your parasites or your demonic consciousnesses that have gone unwitnessed up until whatever point in time are going to start to surface. They will start to surface when they're in your sacral and your root chakra and any lower stuff. So we have parasitic energies go into any dark matter consciousness. Dark matter consciousness is a pocket of black consciousness that no longer has chi or life force energy moving through it, which means it's dead cells or dead, dense, void dark matter energy. It's just a black spot. There's no light in that point, and it's kind of decayed and dead. And it's not to be seen in anything other than that's what it is. And in these dead points is where you'll find worms, you'll find Satan worms, you will find satanic dragon consciousnesses, you will find serpents, you will find spider tech. Blech. Don't like spider tech still. Spider tech creeps me out. Sorry. So when you see these things, you will still have a response, because there's still some aspect of you that gets cringy by it, that you haven't met it in total love. So for whatever reason, I still haven't met the spider tech in total love, and through the eyes of God. And these aspects are just energy signatures that have come into your field. They actually serve you until they don't, because they serve you as a way of separation to come back into yourself. And we don't have to choose that. We don't have to live that way, but we are currently in this incarnation choosing to learn through the separation points. So when you find these black descended dark matter consciousnesses, you start to tune in and you can find all sorts of entities. Okay, so separation. Now, this separation has its own entity consciousness that sits within your energetic field. Your ego has its own consciousness, which when located and when you get to a point that you can identify it, you can actually bring it out of your field and release it. You don't have to go through. When you start to understand, consciousness is an energy signature. So you have an angelic consciousness. You have the consciousness of love. You have the consciousness of connection. You have the consciousness of royalty. You have the queen's consciousness, the king's. You also have demonic consciousness, satanic consciousness, serpent consciousness. You have consciousness of AI, archon energy. You have all these different layers, and every single one sits within your being. So the aspect of learning to read into the quantum field means that you can access these parts of yourself and meet them with love and transmute them into source energy. Because what you desire in truth is your spirit essence, which is your unique expression of God, Source, Creator in your physical vessel. And when you can do that, yes, there may be different consciousnesses that slip in, and there'll be points of continually refining and tuning and becoming more and more and more solid in your own source connection. But once you're in your source connection, you don't have distortion sit in your field the way that you have. It doesn't happen because you've remembered. It's not saying that you don't evolve into higher recognitions of your source experience, but it means that you're no longer at the effect of the separation consciousness in whatever expression that is. So for our experiential learning, I am not going to get to all of these comments. I'm going to have to respond in text, guys. Okay, totally keen to volunteer. Oh, yay, Charlene. Yes, this is great. I would love that. Are you still on, babe? Yes, 4 minutes ago. Hang on. All right, so I'm pretty sure. So Charlene, I know that she would be a great person to volunteer. She can also speak out aloud because she is one of the beautiful beings that is partaking in the the purity of Isis container. So I already know that she can access this in a way that will be more easeful. I'm just trying to figure out how to get you on here. I thought there was an ad, like a interactivity, questions, polls. How do I add someone? What's this do? Nope. I don't use Facebook Live very often. View post. Okay, come on. There has to be a way to add someone into this. Yeah, that's what I thought. You can request to come on camera. So where is the request to come on camera? Settings, stream, viewers. What does this mean? Oh. Nope. See, I'm on my computer. Normally the request to come on camera is... Oh no, what have I done? I can still see that I'm live. Is on there, and it's not interactivity. I would have thought it was here. Okay. Alright. Okay. We could do it without her being live. I don't really want to do that, but I am aware that my phone's not plugged in, and I'm pressing too many buttons, and I don't know how to go back. Okay, yeah. So, is there a button that says request live on there? Hang on, I'm going to quickly... Yeah, you're not seeing it on your end. That's what I thought. I thought there was a button to request to go live. I'm just going to quickly Google it. Okay, so for this interactive activity, what we are going to do is we're going to all drop in to our hearts, but I am going to create an energetic bubble which will hold all of us in this space, and it will also be accessing first I will access this point within Charlene's consciousness, but then I will invite you, with her consent because she's volunteering, to look, so that you can look at what a distorted aspect looks like through me, right? So I'm not going to allow anything to happen that is of a volatile nature, that is not allowed in my time and in my facilitation, but it will access so that you can see or feel or perceive what that looks like within another being. So I request, what is it? Request video on Facebook live stream. If we cannot do her live on the video, we'll just get her to chat. Oh, this looks way more okay, tap at the bottom of the live, tap to send request. So it says that you can request. We will wait. Please find a way to get her live. Okay, so it says that at the bottom it says invite friends or group members to watch your live. So, okay, maybe I need to do it over here. Live chat, your replies, overview, more likes. What is this? Settings. Save. No. Nope. None of this is helping me. So, the only other option is disconnect and go on from my phone, which we could do. We could definitely do that. That would mean a swap over from a phone, because I believe if I do live on my phone, there's a request. So there's definitely no request button, right? Copy, request, create poll. I can't find anything. There's so many options here, and there's not anything here. It's ridiculous. Remove, pop up, disconnect. People love this. It'll be juicy. All right. Are you still there, Charlene? You didn't bail on me because people are going to be looking at your parasitic consciousness. Let me know. I can't see anything on my screen. Okay, hang on. What if I do... Hang on. Let me do a live on my phone. I think... Can I do that? Can I do both? And see if it will show me... Whoop. All right. Live video. Yeah, they'll be invited to join. Okay, yes, we're going to do that. So hold tight. We will go part 2 on my phone. I'm just going to have to connect it because it's hot. It's going hot already, and I don't want it to overheat, and I got to plug it into a charger. So give me 2 minutes, and we will reconvene on the other side. I love you.